Ian has arrived at the drive unit.
Ian, be careful out there. I know this is a routine fix, but don't let your guard down. There were 300 people on board. Their lives are in your hands.
Roger that.
Commander! The drive unit's going critical!
The unit is overheating beyond our estimates, sir.
Ian!
Commander Malkovich, unit meltdown imminent. It's going to explode.
Prepare to disengage the drive unit immediately.
But Ian's still inside!
Adam, I can reach him. Give me the order, please.
Lock and secure the shielding doors now.
Adam, wait! There's still time. I can make it. Please let me go. I mean, that's Ian. That's your little brother out there.
We're out of time, sir.
Adam, please, let me go. You have to trust me. Just give me a chance.
Commence drive unit disposal immediately. That's an order.
Adam was right. If we had waited any longer, it would have meant the end of those we had come to rescue, and the end of us as well. I knew that, but...
At the very least, you wouldn't be standing here now. That's what the commander was most scared of.
I was childish. No one should have to make the choice that Adam did, and yet all I could do was question his authority and make things more difficult.
Hey, you were just a pup then, and the commander knows it. Look, forget it. Sorry for hitting a nerve. We better get going anyhow. Man, if something like that happened now? Huh. Best just forget about it. I'm out.
I knew the question Anthony was suppressing, and I knew the answer. If something like that happened again, I would hold fast to that glimmer of hope and try for redemption. That's who I am.
Okay, I think with that cutscene right there, we're finally gonna start the big one here. I haven't been putting it off. I don't know, it kind of feels like I've been putting it off, but I really haven't. I've just been waiting for us to see kind of more of Samus's character, and that's kind of cutscene number 2 right there. Cutscene number 1 was actually towards the beginning stages of the game. That one where Samus kind of divulged her thoughts to us about Adam as it pertained to him kind of being a father figure and things like that. So let's just go ahead and start talking about that. That first one that we saw way back then, I didn't really have a chance to talk about that one and dissect it because I was griping about the authorization system for the most part there. But, oh god, you right here? Oh, go away. But, I don't think at that first one, I don't think that was too offensive, really. I wouldn't say that's offensive at all, actually. I think I'm definitely going to have to take down this guy before we go any further right there. Let's just go ahead and freeze it. You remember that these things, we've taken them down before, but they can take a lot of hits. That was back before we had the wave beam, though, so hopefully we can do a bit better right here. But yeah, Samus kind of, in that one, Samus kind of went on about her relationship with Adam. You know, how she would kind of respond to his authority, how she, whenever he said any objections, she'd always give him the thumbs down, things like that. And I actually believe that, and I do buy that Samus could potentially see Adam as a father figure right there. And I've heard people criticize this and say, well, why would that be the case? Oh, don't do that. Why would that be the case whenever that's not the first father figure that she's ever really had? Of course, if you read the manga, which Sakamoto does consider to be canon to this series right here, which I think is a pretty decent story. Again, I don't really read manga. I don't really have anything to compare to, really. But yeah, she definitely had Old Bird and the other one right there that she could have seen as fathers. But remember that she was an alien, kind of among that society, among the Chozo society. So I can really buy that Adam was the first time that she really did kind of have a human father figure right there. So Yeah, so that's kind of it for the first one. I don't find that all too offensive. And the fact that she did appreciate that by Adam calling her lady, he kind of acknowledged what he saw as a really kind of traumatic and just altogether nasty past that she had, which was very true. I mean, again, this is kind of outlined in the manga, and it's kind of, I don't know, some scenes are kind of disturbing, really. When you see Ridley's first assault on the colony that Samus lived on with her parents, it's actually kind of a heartbreaking scene, really, because it's Samus trying to get over her fear of strangers like she first felt with the Chozo, and she kind of learns to do that after Oldbird talks to her, and he says that just because we look different doesn't mean that we can't be friends and things like that. And look who's here. Fantastic. And the way that scene plays out is that Samus kind of conquers her fear of other species by befriending this cute little bunny-like thing that she calls Pionchi, I think. And it's really a touching scene, really. Like, she makes friends with this rabbit, and Oldbird tells her that just because we may look different and I may look scary to you doesn't mean that we can't get along and that we can't be friends. And then Ridley shows up, and he massacres the whole colony, and Samus tries to apply what she learned to Ridley by being like, yeah, he looks really different, he looks really scary, but we can still be friends, right? And it's interesting because for a second, Ridley looks like her words have kind of affected him, but he's Ridley, and then it's really nasty and stuff like that, so... I mean, I can kind of buy that after that, Samus would see Adam as, you know, kind of a true father figure or something like that. And then we got that scene right there, where Adam kind of sacrifices his little brother in front of Samus, despite objecting Samus right there, but we'll get to that in a bit, because... guess who we finally get to fight? I believe this guy is called Boresh right here. He's been tormenting us since we first stepped into Sector 3, and now's our time to get revenge right here. And this guy can be pretty difficult. He hits like a freaking truck, and he goes everywhere. It can be kind of difficult to hit him. I remember having a lot of trouble with this guy the first time I fought him, so let's see how this holds up. With our newly found wave beam, we can hit that little underbelly pretty easily, and we have to do enough damage to where he does that. And then that's not a missile point, really. That's a grapple beam point. So let's see if I can lock onto that somehow, because we're gonna have to do the impossible right here when we take this guy down. Like, let's see if I can do it. I don't want to missile him, really. I want to. There we go. Pull it in. There we go. We can beach this guy right here. Then we just rip it to his underbelly. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to do it, though. Perhaps a charge beam or even a missile would be more effective. I did take note of how much damage we did right there, so we'll go ahead and try the charge beam next. Because we're getting to the point to where all this stuff is really stacking up, and it is completely possible that our beam would be altogether more powerful than the missiles. Let's try this again. Pull him back up. Whew. Well, she's got to be pretty strong to kind of pull that off right there. It's looking like, yeah, the charge beam is definitely doing a lot more. We'll go ahead and see if the missiles kind of even that out in a bit. Oh god, it jumps all around. Do you have to do damage to that underbelly, I think, before he kind of comes up and tries to open up his mouth up wide and then eat you like that. This is another reason why, and I haven't really talked about this, that I am ultimately glad... Okay, that's not going to work. Get out the way. I am ultimately glad that Other M has an auto lock-on feature, because can you imagine what a pain this would be in a third-person view? I mean, we don't have the mobility in a first-person perspective. We can't even move around in the first one for that to kind of really be an option. For us to have the same kind of... Yeah, I think the charge beam did more. For us to have the same type of precision without an auto lock-on, so... Oh yeah, now he's really angry. So I can't really imagine playing this game without the auto lock-on. I've heard people say that it's too easy, but again, I'm pretty experienced with this game, and we've had some close run-ins. Ooh. Like that, ooh, yeah, especially when the enemy spam kind of starts and you have like really involved and quick bosses like this. Like, I would not call this an easy game at all. Honestly, I wouldn't, but again, I think this first boss right here is the first time that I really thought that, like, wow, it's actually really good that Other M has a lock-on feature, jeez. And there we go, after all that torment. Oof. You know, I have said that I really like the enemy design of some of these enemies here in Other M. That's definitely one of them, like I pointed out. I love how it's kind of a combination of, like, a shark and an anglerfish and just all those really nasty underwater creatures. But that's not even an underwater creature, that's an under-lava creature, so it's just like, ugh, god, it's like the holy triumphant of everything nasty and not very pleasant, ugh. But it's finally over with, so we can go ahead and get over here. Well, I have to wonder, like, why on earth did they create something like that for their experiments? I get, like, it's a really dangerous bioweapon, but geez, you didn't think you would lose control of that? Or something like that? Man.
Samus, it looks like that monster is headed to the geothermal electric power generator. Track it and put an end to it.
Man, all the way over there? Are you kidding me? Looks like we still have a ways to go, though. Jeez. But okay, like I was saying, with Adam's characterization, because... Well, I'm kind of tackling the cutscenes here, but yeah, like I said, the manga could be pretty brutal in some points, and I'll bring that up later, because it's the most brutal on a certain point, and... You know, if you know about Other M's notoriety, you know what I'm talking about really right here, but, okay, yeah, that doesn't look good. Yeah, maybe I should step into that. Ow. Okay, go back. Whew. But okay, so yeah, like I covered, I'm okay with Adam being a potential father figure for Samus right there. I don't take too much issue with that first cutscene right there. I think it's absolutely fine. I can get why he would be a bit more sensitive to her past, because, you know, it was, like, really messed up and things like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of avoid you right here, because you're really nasty. I don't want to deal with you anymore. So let's go ahead into that second one right there, because I think that second one says more about Anthony's character than it does Samus's. And I am going to touch on Samus's character briefly right here, but again, there's another major cutscene that I want us to go through before I do that. But I think we have really everything that I would like us to see about Adam in order for me to pass judgment. And I have passed judgment, like what I say really matters at all, jeez. But like I've said in the past, I don't think Adam is a terrible character. Let's go ahead and look at the context that we have had up to this point, up to Other M. We do have the manga right there, which Adam does appear in very briefly, but it's enough for him to kind of have a connection to Samus and for us to kind of know the connection that he has to the Galactic Federation and the... Ow! What was that? Was that something from one of those freaking snakes? I think it may have been. I just got sniped. Alright, don't know what it is, but what we have to do is we have to hit this thing right here. And I want to position that grapple beam right there to where it'll actually be active. Yeah, if I get it right now, it's not going to do much for me. Let's try hitting that again. Because we need to get some verticality right here, and I think this will actually do it. Let's see, can I do that? Oh gosh, are you kidding me? Oh yeah, so I thought these guys were confined to their sand pits, but apparently not. Now let's try this again. Do it all quick like. And go! Is that going to get me anywhere? Nope. Looks like we're still not really facing the right direction for right now. So let me go ahead and try to avoid where these snakes are. Maybe structure this one more time. Because we have to get to another console. Where is that console? I think it's up there, actually. Yeah, so maybe this... Oh! Maybe this is where we want to be. Actually, no. I think I want to hit this thing one more time in order to angle this correctly. God, I keep wanting to talk about Adam's character, and I keep getting freaking sidetracked. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get to it in a second. But yeah, Adam in that scene is kind of portrayed as... Oh, you guys are so annoying. He's kind of portrayed as a commander that is willing to do... Okay, fine, go down. Freaking... I'm so freaking tired. But if they go back into the sand and you can't really do too much. At least you can kind of see, like, where they are. Are those just projectiles that they're hitting at me? I don't know. Go! Straighten me out right here. Nope, opposite direction. I want to hit it from this one, I think. Let's do it right here. Yeah, those are definitely the projectiles that those things have. Let's try this one from this way. No, Samus, why are you doing that? No, I want you to... Actually, I think, yeah, this may still be the wrong angle now that I'm thinking about it, because... Yeah, this is going to be the wrong angle. I think we can only go a certain way. You can't go, like, diagonal or anything like that. So let's go ahead and try wailing on this a bit more. I don't think that's going to do it. I think we might have to completely rotate, because I want to get to that console right up there. Let's go ahead and try nailing that again. No, that's not what I want to do either. Why aren't you doing what I want you to do? I know it's my fault. I'm hitting it from the wrong direction. And not taking out those guys was the biggest mistake in my life. Okay, so I took care of those two sandworms right there. That was very annoying, and what you want to do is, yeah, I think I had this angle before, but I was just hitting the thing the wrong way. So what we want to do now is that now this thing is pointing towards the platform that we want, we'll go ahead and get that. And because we can only kind of swing parallel to where the lift is pointing right there, that's the direction that we want to be in right there, which will allow us to actually get to the console right now. Oh, boy. You know, this really was not all that annoying. It was just those freaking sandworms that really just made it a lot worse than it had to be. Well, let me go ahead and see if I can use my vantage point right here. Yeah, I can't really get to the turntable thing right there with the missiles that I want to right now, so we'll just have to get on further back down here and kind of align it the way I want, and I think the quickest way to do that will be from this side. I don't think there are any more enemies in this place, so it's not going to be all too problematic right there. But okay, at last, let's talk about that cutscene where Adam pretty much banishes his brother to his death right there. That's kind of a typical commander type of thing, right? He sees the needs of the many over the needs of the few. He sees when situations are hopeless and he minimizes the losses, things like that. But we can also kind of derive from that Adam is very kind of duty-prone. Shall we say, that, he's willing to kind of step on toes and that he's willing to make sacrifices in order to do what he believes to be the right thing to be done. I think that's what I'm trying to say right there. So that just tells me about Adam that he does he's a very strict CEO, and that he does have the respect of kind of his colleagues and his peers and things like that, but he can't be, shall we say, he can have kind of like a heartless exterior from time to time, which I think maybe doesn't line up with the manga too well, because again, you don't see him in the manga all that much, other than just when Samus was at the Galactic Federation, when she was actually in the military herself. But I think it lines up pretty well with what we heard about him from Fusion, and it is kind of weird when people criticize Adam as a character like he just didn't exist until 2010 with Other M. When in fact, I mean, I'm pretty sure his first appearance was Metroid Fusion, like what, 2001, 2002, something like that. And then he was in the manga maybe just like 1 or 2 years later. So I mean, Adam has been around for a while, guys, and his character is pretty consistent. I mean, you can't really say that it's all too different from what we saw in the manga. And I mean, we didn't see him in Fusion, but we just heard Samus talk about him, and we know that his intelligence got put into the Adam computer somehow. So it's like that he did kind of stay alive in such a manner. So Adam was not introduced in Other M, guys, which is why, and again, you know, maybe this is just me being petty and this isn't the truth, I do feel that a lot of the Western hate for Other M comes from people who maybe had just played Prime 1 through 3. I don't know if it was really from people who had experienced the series in its entirety up to that point, because I feel like people who complained about the linearity and complained about Adam as a character didn't really play Fusion at all, you know, and it's just kind of like, well, I mean, they were made by the same guy. I mean, that was his latest fully original game right there, so I mean, kind of important to know what he was saying before you play Other M or things like that. But again, I mean, people can like and dislike whatever they want to. I'm just saying that perhaps it just comes from a Metroid Prime kind of mindset, which again, you know, is kind of Sakamoto's fault for not really considering that audience too much. But again, I do think that there's reasons why things in Other M occur. They didn't just happen out of nowhere. Not all of them. Like, I'll give everyone that. Like, some of them do just kind of occur, and they are brand new for Other M. But a lot of things have been a long time coming if you've kind of played the series in its chronological order, really, in the way that it was released. And I'm pretty sure we have to get up there. Am I just not close enough to it? Let's try looking all the way up now. There we go, yeah. Just had to be pretty close. The grapple points are kind of finicky. You don't really have the same linearity that you would have had with, say, Metroid Prime 3. They were kind of restricted in the first Metroid Prime as well. And kind of Prime 2 as well, but although somehow I recall there being fewer grapple points in Prime 2 for some reason. Maybe that's just me, though. Maybe I'm just misremembering that. But yeah, just like with the Speed Boosters 2, they really had to kind of they had to constrict what they could do in the 2D games in order to make up for kind of this 3D space right here. And I think what we want to do is we'll go ahead and take that down, and we need to do something right here, too. And I do kind of like this area, too. It's very kind of like, it's very factory-like, mechanical-like, things like that. You know, we're in the inner workings of something like that. And wow, that was a lot of times I just said like, wow. Let's go ahead and shimmy on over to this side right here. I think now we'll be able to get the verticality, although this thing right here will be a problem. Let me see if I can go ahead and take this out first. Yeah, you crawlers are going to be a problem first. I'll go ahead and take you out first. And there we go, that'll be that. So yeah, in its summation about Adam, I feel like the way he is portrayed in Other M is definitely, I mean, of course it fits into the cutscene that we saw in Other M, right? But I think if you have also read the manga, and like you did really pay attention to what Samus kind of had to say about her former CEO in Fusion, and kind of the mannerisms of the AI in Fusion as well, it tends to fit pretty well for me right there, and that cutscene just kind of reinforces it right there. So let's go ahead to Samus in that cutscene right there. I will say that I do like the idea of a very young, inexperienced, emotional Samus right there. A Samus that is not fully figured things out, that is kind of really headstrong, doesn't really think things through. I think that's what she was in that cutscene right there. She definitely had, I don't want to say she screamed a lot more, but her voice was definitely kind of more direct, really. It was kind of panicky, like she didn't have complete control of the situation at that point, like she didn't really know what to do, she was acting really impulsively. So yeah, I like that idea of a much younger Samus, which kind of ties into an idea of mine. You know, I don't like to talk about how I would fix Other M and things like that. I'm not really a game designer, you know, I can tell you what I would do with the pieces and parts that I had, but it kind of makes me wish that for Other M, it had been set in that time period where Samus was a lot younger, and she was in the Galactic Federation army at that point, as if it was a prequel to the whole series, like a prequel to Zero Mission and things like that. Because not only would the authorization system make sense at that point, because, I mean, she's kind of obligated to follow orders by... Oh god, these things again. She's kind of obligated, and these guys are really easy to take down now, since we have both the Ice Beam and the Wave Beam. Makes you feel really powerful. Nice little element that Metroid has always had right there. So it would make sense that she would follow the authorization mechanic right there because, well, she's a soldier. You got to follow orders and things like that. And I'm going to have to take these guys down before I get a running start right there. But I also think maybe it would have lessened the problems that people had with Samus's overall portrayal in this game. And again, we'll get to more of those problems later. But a lot more of those problems would be kind of explained away by just saying, this isn't the Samus you know. It's a much younger, more spunky Samus and things like that. You know, not the cold, calculating badass that you know. Although, again, I kind of don't want Samus to be the cold, calculating badass. And I do think, dating even back to Metroid Prime, not even Metroid Prime 2, that Metroid 2, that we did see kind of a glimpse into a more forgiving personality, but yeah, those are just ways that you could have softened the blow just a little bit more, for sure.